What is happening, legends? Welcome to another episode of Meta Legends Live. It's Rose here as your host. We are going to have another great episode today. We got a lot of things lined up here. We're going to do a quick run through of announcements and discussions about things that are happening the rest of the week. And then we're going to jump on into a juicy interview with Apefan Awning from I'm going to butcher this. ALPACADABRAZ. I always want to say ALPACADABRAZ, but I got to stop myself at shorten the tracks because of it's the ALPACADABRAZ. But they are here. We're going to have some fun, great community, great people, and I can't wait to share some of the insights that they have. And follow it up after that. We're going to jump over into the lounge and have a good time. So let's dig into the meat. So we are here into the Saturday. We have the podcast going on right now. And so the only thing else that's going on for the rest of the week is tomorrow on Sunday, we have the daily quiz and the mystery legend game results. And then what everybody loves to look forward to throughout the week, the design lesson with 3D Monster at 9 p.m. UTC. Again, we're having a lot of fun going on, and then we'll have an update of what things are going to be happening all next week. But if you missed out earlier on in the week, we had the Legend Zone drop. Want to learn more about what it is about what it is about dropping into the LZ? Go head over to the Discord. We'll have a lot of cool things. It's going to be the Legends exclusive club. You know, the true believers are going to be going into there, and check out some of the rewards. It might be worth going and looking into. Also, coming up here in mid-April, we're going to be stopping the honorary collection. So what does that mean? You have until mid-April to pick up 30 legends if you want to get your own personal honorary designed for you by none other than Max himself. So check into it. I mean, there's a couple of goodies on the floor right now. I just picked up another one not too long ago before the podcast. So again, there's a lot of cool things going on. If you have any questions about anything that's related, go and hop over to the Discord. And, you know, if this is your first time tuning in, just to give you a little background of what the Meta Legends Project is, we are a collection right now of 12,345 legends. We are categorized by level of rarity with hundreds of generated elements. You know, our goal is to be this complete ecosystem. And how are we going to do this is we're starting out with this app that we're developing called the MetaConnect app. And it's going to be the NFT social media platform. It's going to be a whole thing. We're looking to push this at the end of April. Again, head over to the Discord if you want to learn more about the cool and interesting aspects of what's coming out with that app. And then we're going to take it to the next level with developing our own metaverse called Meta Life. There's a lot of things that we're looking to do, a lot of new things that we're able to dig into along the way. So if this is your first time tuning in, stick around, learn a little bit. We have two great guests we're going to hop up on here and discuss some fun things related to their project as well as to just the Web3 space in general. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome up our guests. We've got the ALPACADABRAZ and Meta Legends Live going on here. And we have both Awning and Apefan. How are we doing?
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great, too. Please forgive me for my
You're
butchering
doing
of the name
great.
sometimes. It's something I'm going to have to commit to muscle memory.
Yeah. No, you did it great. I mean, we've heard a lot of different combinations, but you actually nailed it to last time. So I'm quite surprised by that. I'm quite happy to hear it.
I like the attempt. I like the attempt at the start at the punchline.
No, so this is fun. We're happy to have both of you up on here. And again, you know, why don't you start off by telling some of the viewers who you are?
I could start. So I'm Apefan. I'm one of the co-founders of the ALPACADABRAZ, I'm fully committed to the project right now. So no other hobbies or no other no other jobs in real life, but I have a history of in the medical field, doing medical research before going all the way into Web3.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
Very different
Yeah.
than what you see
Yeah.
by other people, but yeah,
I
it
mean,
works
now
out
I'm
well.
thinking, all right, is he going to start doing medical procedures on these alpacas or what's going
No, 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 no. That's not my goal. That's not my goal. I gotta have some things separated from each other. This is a
And what
great
about
thing to separate.
awesome? And what about you, Awning?
I actually started in the fitness industry when I was like 18. I was there for a few years in the fitness industry as a PT. Like I used to like market myself that way. Then I go into marketing, and then how the Web 3.0 started. It was all kind of from one thing to the other, really. It just went kind of smoothly. Just I was PTing, and then went to the marketing, and then going to Web 3.0 2 years ago, and here I am. Mainly for the alpaca, I kind of do the MAAs, Twitter Spaces, and I do a bit of the Twitter pretty much for now. As I'm helping out on that front. So
No,
I'm really happy. Really happy
it's
to be here.
no, we appreciate both of you taking the time out of your days. I know that we coordinating this sometimes, especially when we're all in different areas of the world, it can be a little bit of a hassle. But again, I appreciate it. I know, Awning, you just got done traveling today, literally landed like an hour or so ago. So again, really appreciate you taking the time to still meet with us here and offer some of your insights. And Apefan, you just as much as the same.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here, and yeah, it's you always see these type of things happen at around the same times of the day because then it's quite suitable for everywhere in the world, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's dig into some of this stuff. I mean, so you're talking about saying that you were looking more in the medical field, medical research and stuff. And how did you get involved into the crypto NFT blockchain aspect?
Yeah, it's probably something that has always been happening on the sidelines. Sometimes it's nice to pick up another hobby, and it's nice to learn about other things. And this is definitely something that is so different than anything I was doing. And we all want money, so I got into crypto in 2015 already. And yeah, because that was quite early, I only had to hodl, and wanted to do something with the money. And yeah, NFTs were one of the most fun things. So I first started with DeFi as well, but yeah, that's always felt like a long-term strategy. While NFTs were probably the thing that could express my degen the most. So dived into it, and yeah, it got some luck, got some bad luck, and then I decided to make my own project because I felt like this I can do better.
Well, you know what we call some of that bad luck? We call that tuition. You're paying your
Yeah,
tuition.
yeah,
You
exactly.
learned.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of tuition has been paid.
Some people go to different schools, man.
Yeah, definitely,
What
definitely.
about you, Awning? How'd you get involved?
In NFTs, see, it all started. So it's kind of, for me, it all started when I did a bit of marketing. But see, for me, I like to be a jack of all trades. So like, I like to know like a bit of everything. I don't like to be just doing one thing at a time. So then, if you look at it, marketing is the more kind of versatile thing you have. Because you have copywriting, planning, this and that. There's so many different factors that are included to it. So for me, I was kind of the obvious choice. So then when I started doing marketing, I was looking into like NFT projects, what like, where I can help. Then got my big start with Metasource, and then I was in a few like constellations. I was doing a bit of advisory work for different projects, and then luckily enough, found myself in ALPACADABRAZ. The team is fantastic, to be so welcoming. And see, for me, being involved with big NFT projects is a learning curve. You learn so much, but they have their own process in place. It's always a blessing, with a blessing to be involved with a project like that, but you get to learn quite a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I mean just to expand on that, like the whole learning process of this. I mean, that is a whole beast in itself. I mean, we had Henry the Grape on the other day from CyberCogs talking about a lot of the different barriers to entry for this space, and it all comes down to just what you're aware of and how much you understand the different elements of it. For example, if you first come into it and you think, all right, I'm just going to set up a wallet and it's going to be all good to go, you got about 10 different elements that are interacting with that you also have to understand. Getting it from the exchange, you also have to know that, all right, how important is my seed phrase? Then what am I, which currency am I using?
Yeah, just getting your ETH in the wallet. There's just so many variables already involved. And there's just so many things that can go wrong. It's so time consuming, especially when you're a beginner, So like there's so many different variables involved in it. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with that. And like I said, just as you were talking about it, sometimes you just start drifting around, and that's kind of what I was doing too. I mean, for me, I'm an accountant by day, and then I just happened to come across this project, Meta Legends, like 2 days before their bench. I was like, "Ooh, this is fantastic art," and that's kind of what started my deeper dive into it, because I had all this topical understanding, right? Think that, where you think that you understand everything, but you just get humbled sometimes. And
it's like you're in a bubble.
All right, I gotta always be learning some new things, because how rapidly this environment is kind of changing.
Exactly. I was about to mention to that too. Like that's what I love about the NFT space is like you are forced to learn. If you don't learn, you become obsolete, and that is just the sad nature of it. Is that if you don't keep learning and move with the curve, you will get left behind because no one's going to wait for you. No one is waiting for you to start learning or keep looking at what's happening. You have to always be hyperactive when it comes to this market. And for me, that's what I love.
Definitely. And, that kind of helps lead right into, that next question of like Web3. How has it changed your life? And do you see it changing other people's lives as well? I mean, Apefan, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, well, it obviously changed my life because yeah, I'm only working on the Web3. I'm only working on my own project right now, and I could not have imagined myself doing this a year ago. Maybe a year ago by this time, I started getting involved into the NFTs, but a bit more than a year ago, I didn't even know them. I didn't know much about it. And I think, yeah, most of the people didn't who are in the space right now. You can see the huge boom in the last year. So yeah, it definitely changed my life in a great way as well. So I couldn't be more happy than what I'm doing right now. I couldn't be more happy working on this project, and every day, like it became really hard to sleep because I just wanna work. I wanna make things, follow up on our promises. But yeah, it's a completely different world, but a completely fun world as well. And I can definitely see it changing other people's lives as well. Right now, it feels the NFT space feels a bit like it has not found the position it will be in let's say 5 to 10 years. There's hardly any attention for real art. I feel like there's hardly any attention for music. There's no attention for the things that actually make NFTs very great. So I do see it change a lot of people's life in where it will be more focused to people who are also artists instead of people who just flip NFTs. So in that sense, I do see it change a lot of people's lives, but we're not seeing the full potential of it right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just based on adoption, because it's
Yeah.
a lot of people are hesitant to adopt these kind of concepts that are actually being developed, because
Yeah.
You can look at it in the aspect of, yes, we have all these cool artists that are making these cool PFPs, and one of the best perspectives I was told is that a year ago people were just selling the PFP aspect. They were just
Yeah.
selling whatever you could put on your profile. But now they're creating more things that they're able to do in their roadmap. They're
Yeah.
creating the utilities from it. They're creating the experience in the environment, or they're setting it up for later down the road with the metaverse perspective of it. And like you said, just the art, the producing of music and other artists, other the kind of art that I assume that you're talking about is definitely something that's going to be appreciated more once this kind of structure has a little bit more of a refinement to it. But
Yeah.
again, the nature of this DeFi is going to be interesting to see how it really truly progresses, right?
Yeah. I just think that if we would have a time capsule and you would go 5 to 10 years into the future, the Web3 will be amazing. It will be there. It will be more adopted, and it will be used in its full or fuller capacity rather than because the sky's the limit, and right now we can utilize it much more.
Absolutely. And what about you, Awning? How did
Oh,
it change your life, and how do
I
you
mean,
see it changing other people's lives?
first of all, I must give a clap to what Apefan actually said, but actually spot on. I was talking to a few investors last night, a few CEOs, and they see the same space, they see the same way. They're just talking about them getting into NFT and what they think about it and like when put their money. And they said the exact same thing as Apefan just said right now. Is like the NFT just hasn't found just that their space yet, has found that, that little gem in the rough. Also we have Bored Ape, etc. But they just haven't found that specific path to go on. It's just going to so different ways. And then hopefully in few years or even shorter, the best path or the best possible way will prevail. And then they see, okay, because there's so much money being pumped into this, and business the technology is developing so much, so quick, just with the capital. And that's why like everyone's kind of looking, everyone is looking and waiting to see where NFT will shift and when is that shifting point, where's that turning point where they find their path. And as soon as that path gets found, or the best kind of direction to go with, there's going to be a lot of capital being thrown in, because right now people are kind of wary, they're standing a bit back, observing, waiting, just for that little pivot to happen, Come back, yeah.
Yeah, no, continue. I was just going to say, yeah, your point is both your points are very valid of just, we're in that, it's just like when they release, we're in that price finding point where we're just trying to find what the path of some of these directions are. And, you got all different ways. You see the sports betting world changing. You see the actual being able to go and experience events changing,
Oh,
how we
huge,
go.
yeah.
Like from even to the aspect we had on our AMA the other day with Red Rabbit talking about how the food industry is changing and how we'll be walking into Decentraland Walmart or something.
I've watched that actually. Yeah.
The groceries.
Oh man, such a clever guy. I've watched it actually. I watch quite a lot of your podcasts. We have a lot of clever guys on, and for me, it's just I like seeing their perspective on things. How they see it coming from their own industry. Because they have a completely different angle and different perspective on things as they're from a different niche that they're offering. So you go back to your question about like how Web 3.0 has changed my life is like I wouldn't imagine myself, sitting here talking to people like about technology and how the future and how it progresses. So I was talking to Max when he was on our Twitter space a few weeks ago. We were talking about that we are actually are making future for like the future generation. We're setting the foundations for them to scale this technology and develop it to incredible heights. But like we are at the start, we have the foundation that actually constructs it. And for me, that's the biggest achievement. Like being able to provide that foundation for the future generations to scale the technology and see what happens 20, 30 years time. Who knows?
Ooh, you just said chills down my spine because you're absolutely right. That's kind of like one of the foundational aspects of it is, it's cool being a part of the development of it, but we know that the future generations are going to take this to another level, right? It's like the way that we think of it now is what we're even able to comprehend. There's still things that is going to be able to be applied to this technology later on that we're not even thinking about yet. And it's going to come from this next generation. Like my son, he's almost 2 years old, and compared to our lives, how we grew up, he's going to be in a completely different environment and learning how all this technology is really shifting the focus of what the future is really going to look like. So I completely understand the the importance of that aspect, like you were talking about, Awning. It's very cool.
The excitement, though, because you know that you're building something or you're involved in something that is going to be the future. There is no doubt about it. Either it's going to be NFTs, or NFTs is going to be the platform or the kind of the pedestal that will kick off everything. It can go both ways. It can be either an entry point or it can be the end product. Myself, like as my personal opinion, I see it as a transition. I see it as a transition to metaverse. Like thanks to NFTs, there's so much capital, so much money for a lot of different creative minds to be able to construct the metaverse, implement it, build technology. Like ourselves, we are using Sandbox to kind of push the boundaries on that front, add different features. But I think like the amount of people that are out there and the kind of the possibilities and perspectives that are available to be used is incredible.
So talk to me a little bit about that. What are you doing in the sandbox? And tell me a little bit about those the things that you're trying to do in there. We're going to talk a little bit more about the mounting aspect, but tell me some of the other things that you guys are doing with the alpaca out
I'll
there.
actually, I'll let Abe answer that
Yeah,
question.
definitely. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So we always had our vision on Sandbox, had our aim on Sandbox, but actually our goal was to go big into the metaverse, and we chose Sandbox as our first target. Let's say it like that. But we also diversified into other metaverses, so World Wide Web 3, NFT worlds. We have a world in NFT worlds, so we're really trying to target all the metaverses because. As discussed before, we don't know where the future is heading, so we gotta stay vigilant. We gotta stay prepared because if you have a goal in 1 year the whole space is completely different, and so it's not that good to follow to bet all your money on one horse. So we but yeah, right now we're focusing on Sandbox. We have a full team, a really big team of people building on our land. We're currently developing 4 games, a racing game, we have a jumping game, we have an RPG. So this will be around 20 hours playtime, and we'll show you the history and the future of the ALPACADABRAZ. So
That
that's quite.
sounds cool.
Yeah, it's gonna. I'm very much looking forward to it because yeah, that it's developed by other teams. So not other teams, it's from our team, but other people because I can't see everything myself. So I'm actually as excited as everyone else about how amazing it's gonna be. But yeah, we got quite lucky because we started searching already in November, and almost to our surprise, to be honest, almost no other project was focusing on the metaverse back then. Sandbox was still doing. Oh, we started in October already. Sandbox still had one big boom, which was happening quite shortly after we focused. But yeah, most of the builders were still free, so we managed to snatch them up, and they're building full time for us, around a team of 15 people now. And yeah, they're making this RPG game, but also. Lastly, a play to earn game, which will be called Paca Farmer game, and that is a bridge between our 2D collection, the Genesis collection, and the 3D collection, because it's a farmer game. So in theory, the game should work like the 2D gives you a piece of fractionalized land on our sandbox land. We're gonna dedicate a full 6x6 for this, 6 plots by 6 plots, and you get a fractionalized piece of land which you can build on. And the 3D collection will be what you're farming with, and what determines the yield that you're getting from the game. That's very shortly explained, but yeah, we're trying to keep it diverse. Jumping game is a game where it's really a challenge. Like it could be that nobody makes it for a full day. The racing game is just 5 people racing against each other. RPG is a single player, and the play to earn game, yeah, completely different.
So did you stay away from like the player versus player because you didn't want alpacas just necking each other?
Yeah, so actually we got contacted by another team which was planning to add like eight projects into a battle royale game. It's quite bloody, but we still need to talk to each other. I don't think our alpacas are afraid of any other NFT, are also not afraid of blood. They look cute, but those are the ones you gotta be the most
Gotta watch
afraid of.
out for,
You
yeah.
gotta watch out, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
They are
Yeah.
dangerous.
So one of the things that I saw when I was looking through some of your announcements and whatnot was the ability to have the alpacas mounted, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, as
And
far as we know, we're the first one to do it, so I'm really excited about it.
I thought it was a great idea, and
Yeah.
I saw it when I was looking because I saw the Cyber Kongs was mounting the
Yeah.
alpacas. But my
Yeah.
question was, did you consider you like mounting the Cyber Kongs?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's possible. The NFT itself should make it possible. The cyberconk is so big that probably it should be possible to mount them in a way, because that's what we
An
noticed
alpaca in
when we.
every hand.
They're what?
An alpaca for every finger they have. That's what you
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Probably, yeah. Yeah, they're gigantic, and once we did the video, the generation basically of them being on top of us, we noticed that they're actually so big that it looks hilarious. But yeah, there's nothing we could change about that. That's their design.
I could see it now. You're just setting up this jousting, and you got
Yeah.
these two big, Kongs and the alpaca. They're just running at each other.
Yeah, it would be super cool. Yeah, no, we're very looking forward to it because it's a great way to unite the world. Just a small background about my opinion about Sandbox. Right now, it looks like a lot of projects are working on their own plot. Even individuals are working on their own plot, but I don't see the world becoming a better place if everyone only has one own plot. That's why I really love the idea of the other project to have a battle royale game together with other projects. And we also always think like, how can we include other NFTs on our land? Yeah, being mountable allows everyone to use their other NFT on our land, not be only be limited into using alpacas, not being limited to our to our niche, to our small part of the whole NFT space. And I
Ecosystem,
think
yeah.
working together is gonna make Sandbox amazing. So I hope that more projects are gonna do this as well, and that's gonna make it very great.
I think that you hit a very important topic, and it is
Yeah.
collaboration.
Yeah,
Because, this space, yes, if you look at individual projects, how do these individual projects survive? They survive based on their community. But
yeah,
how do you expand and grow the space? You get these communities collaborating and working together to push it even further.
yeah,
And what you're doing is incredible because you're right. A lot of people are looking at developing their own land and they're not considering necessarily this integration of, having having something like a Kong on top of one of your
yeah,
alpacas. Like
yeah,
that's not something that was necessarily being thought of, or at least something that I or many others were aware of.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
it's a very advanced kind of concept. But what you do with that is you open people's minds. You're like, oh, we can look at all these other kind of concepts now. What could
yeah,
we do that we can get multiple projects in? What can we implement or create, whether it in the Sandbox, Discord, Twitter, on any of these platforms? How can we make it a more, inclusive environment? Because at the end of the day, I think it's going to be the projects that all come together to push up that
yeah.
is
Yeah, you get
really be
closer.
making the difference.
Yeah, because if we together make Sandbox great, then we will all benefit from it. And if we all stay in our own bubble, then Sandbox might not take off as much as it could in
Mm.
potential. And yeah, we've seen the same thing. And when you were talking about crypto in 2015, most of the people either had it or didn't want to follow up on it. So it felt like you're already late because everyone felt like they were in crypto. But now suddenly so much more people are in there. So we're all so early in this space. So we should make this space. We're basically builders of the whole space, not just of the metaverse. And we can only do that together. We cannot stay greedy.
No, I agree with that. And to your point of sometimes it's not always about, yes, there's a lot of us that are in here for the financial gains, and there is a lot of financial opportunity in this space.
Definitely.
But if we get our minds around that short-term gain perspective, and we're looking more at the longevity aspect, there's so much more benefits in the future of these things if we develop it the right way. And, if we keep it siloed, sometimes it's going to create that suffocation for some of the communities. Sometimes they need the air to breathe where they're going to go and experience a different environment. They're going to go interact with other people, but they can still represent the one community they originally or solely came from, and that's kind of the thing that we're going to see a lot of. It's just going to be, people hopping in and out of different metaverses, wearing different avatars, whatever it may be, and still just having a good time and being able to interact with others. It's really fascinating to see this stuff talked about. I mean, just because like you said, and I say this often, I go out, I live in downtown Chicago, so I'll go walk out on the street sometimes and I'll just try to ask random people, do you know what an NFT is? Do you guys do you own an NFT? We'll have these kind of different perspectives of this, but they'll come at me and like, this man's crazy. What did he just ask me? Or what did he call me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that totally makes you feel like how early we are in here, and of course we're all surrounded by people who own NFTs, people who buy NFTs. But yeah, when you go to a Christmas dinner with your family, everyone will think you're completely crazy, and and we know that this is gonna change because the exact same thing, as I said, happened in 2015 with crypto. Maybe some people knew about it, but most of them didn't want to buy. Now most people know about NFTs. They don't want to buy, and in a way, once it gets really more mainstream, then it's gonna blow up so much more than what we see right now.
I mean, I have a question for both of you. Like, I mean, do you really like talk about NFTs outside of your circle, like to people? I tried as well. Yeah, I tried. It doesn't work. How do you explain this picture? That is a pixel. Is actually worth €5,000. Surprise.
I'm quite forced because I either have to say I'm unemployed and I quit my medical career, or I have to try to explain what an NFT is. There's no in between.
Oh,
Hey, how do you explain it?
yeah, take
I do
stand
sometimes say that I'm unemployed. I'm just like, I'm not gonna pick this fight. It's early. Didn't have my coffee. You know what? I'm unemployed today.
I try to explain it. It doesn't work, man. I've tried it.
Most of the time, I managed to sell them an alpaca. So
well, there's these walls to it. You have these conceptual walls that you have to overcome. The initial one, and I'm sure that we've all gone through it. It's the first one of it's just virtual. How is it going to have any value? It's virtual.
Yeah.
And then we start, that's like one of the first barriers. And then we start to hear it being talked about, whether it might get mentioned on the news once or twice, and somebody that is mentioning, or you see it come across your feed. That engages you to that second stage where you're curious now. And you start to do that initial research. And when you do the initial research, you're just like, overwhelmed, because you got all these pseudo experts that are trying to claim their knowledge about all aspects of it. And having just that one directional understanding, it's hard to grasp. That's why DYOR, do your own research, is such a big thing right now, because it all is going to come down to you yourself. What do you truly understand about the space, and what do you want to do with it? And so there's those different layers of getting past. Okay, I understand it's virtual, but look at all these other people that are taken this opportunity to make money or advance in this technology space. Okay, I just got this NFT. Now it opened up all these other doors for me. Now I can go and do this. Now I'm getting information about here. I'm in this group so often, and where I'm learning more about other investing opportunities or just getting educated. And like, for example, our guy 3D Monster, he does 3D design lessons on Sundays. I would have never looked to go and do something if I wasn't in this community.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool. And again, great question to ask.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
for sure.
I think like a really good proverb that is actually amazing in the NFT space is be not afraid of growing slowly, be afraid of only standing still. That's a really good proverb because it's you shouldn't be afraid of growing, but which way you are growing, what information you are intaking, and is that the correct information? There's a lot of people calling them experts out there. A lot. I see them every day. There's new people coming up, new experts popping right, left, and center. Like in the NFT space, in DeFi space. But sometimes, how do you filtrate through all that information that they have? Like how do you seek the correct information? That's it. You should always do your research. Take everything that you see in the NFT space with a lot of grains of salt. It's different compared to your other industries. It's new, it's brand, it's not regulated. It's like it's developing, it's in construction. So that's why you should always do your research all the time. And that's why I advise myself, like, because you never know what information you're taking, and it really depends on that front.
Definitely. And I think that has an important connection there. It's not regulated. I don't think that we're going to have a lot of these experts in the field until we understand the basis of some of that regulation, because it's until that gets established to understand, all right, this is what you're actually able to do, and this is what you're not able to do. And it's people that are able to have some of those more affirmed understandings of that, where there might be able to be considered as experts. But I think it's still something that's being developed in this space. Blockchain is still something that is being understood by many. Just the foundational concept of all the things that is going on in this space still needs to be understood by a lot of people. So it's, again, this is a rapidly changing environment that's always going to need that educational culture. And so I think that the people that understand the aspect of learning are going to be, we're all becoming experts ourselves right now. Have we gotten there? No. When are we going to become these experts? There's no guarantee on that either. But
yeah, exactly. That's what I've been telling a lot of people. I think something there. I think it was an amazing point. Is I would never call myself an expert for the next 5 or 7 years, because there's so much to learn. There's stuff coming out on a daily basis that you need to digest and then add to your own pool of thinking, and based on that, you can make decisions. The more information you have, the more info you can output as well. But at the same time, there's people that are here for 5, 6 months, and they say that, I'm an expert in this field. But who said you're an expert? You said it yourself. I'll never say myself I'm an expert. If someone else calls me, fair enough. I can have a debate about it. But you never go, hear me around calling myself that, because it's not something that I like to self-attach myself to. It's something people should see value what I say and what I tell them, that they might think I'm an expert that way, but never the other way around. That's why I think,
No, and I love the timing that you put on it. 5 months, 5 months is what it takes to become an expert to some people. And,
you said 5 years, right? 5 years, 5 months.
It's they think that, because the whole concept of time when you're consistently on the computer, right, is different. Sometimes you can be on it, and I'm sure you felt this many of the nights that you've been working on an Apefan, where you felt like you've been on it for maybe 10 hours straight. You could have either been, and then it felt like maybe an hour, or you were on it for 10 hours straight and it felt like a week. So just the warping of the time. It's so
definitely.
I think that's what's kind of also the psychological barrier for some of the people in the consideration of, okay, these guys have been doing it for more than 2 weeks, so I guess I could trust them a little bit more than myself, right?
Yeah, well, it's with NFT, it's nice to know that almost everyone is quite new. Like considering how long people have been studying other things, the NFT space is new for everyone. So it's not too late to enter now, and that gave me actually a nice feeling when I was entering. It's better to join something where people have already been doing it for 20 years.
No, and then I completely agree. And I love this discussion that we're having. It kind of rolls with the next question I have about, you're a global. So the way that we see it is NFTs, they're global, projects, right? You've got people that are purchasing these NFTs from all over the world. And I've been in your Discord and I've seen a lot of the different channels for the languages and whatnot. And, what are some of the challenges that you face with being a global project?
Yeah, it's hard to get your feet on the ground in all different areas of the world. When we started with an open mind. We wanted to go, to sell wherever we could, and we noticed that we got a lot of backing from Asia. So we're also following up on that. We're doing more events in Asia, and of course we want to do it worldwide. But if we see that that a certain area, a certain hotspot gets has a lot of attention for your NFT, then it's quite easy to do a real life event right there. So that's how we have been doing it right now. We just do our global marketing. We do our global, our global tries to to get anywhere in the world to become familiar. Yeah, to get people familiar with the alpacas anywhere in the world. But if we see that in a certain area there's a lot of appreciation for the project, then we can follow up by doing real life events there as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I was talking with Willie for a little bit because I understand he's more in the Asia time zone or region in that sense, and so it's interesting because I think that some of the place that some people are not so aware of is how much, even though there's certain places around the world that consider things not, they ban them or they're trying to regulate some of these things in the NFT space. There's still a lot of market potential and a lot of share to be gained, or even just people to engage with that aren't being engaged. I mean, you see all the different platforms we have right now. There's the ones that people mainly consider: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. And those are just some of the ones that we think about first. But there's all these other ones. You got Pinterest. You didn't know that you could be dropping some of your items out there just for marketing purposes. That helps build some brand there. You also have WeChat. I mean, WeChat's one of the biggest used applications over there in China, and it has all these different aspects that integrate with different social medias. And it's just about like you said, getting that connection and getting your feet on the ground in these places is, the first thing. You got to move. Just like Awning was saying earlier, is that it's better than standing still. Sometimes you just got to go and start approaching it in a way and then learning as you approach through it. So
yeah, definitely. It is quite a challenge. It's to get equal coverage in every part of the world.
Yeah, because I mean, we sometimes face it too. I mean, our founders, they're originally they're French. They're originally from France, moved to Dubai, and that's where the headquarters for Meta Legends is going to be. And so, looking at a lot of our analytics, it's just the most adopted place is the U.S. just because of how the nature of the NFT marketplace is.
Yeah,
but it's I see Awning is here on twice.
what happened?
The hotel Wi-Fi is not the best. What's that?
Hey, no, it's all good. We understand it. It's okay. We've dealt with at least you're not dropping off, So.
I'll be upset that happened. I was actually going to actually bring back to what you said a minute ago. Is about like the different marketing channels that people are now aware of, like Pinterest, huge, Reddit, huge, WeChat in China. There's there's a lot of Chinese projects that are not capitalizing on WeChat for some reason. Like you have right now, like I'm in a lot of chats with different whales, NFT whales that use Telegram. And they
Yes.
just use Telegram because Discord is become so obsolete in a way where like I just usually just block all my DMs because 99% of them are spam. So like people are shifting to like these Telegram groups now. People using Telegram groups for marketing, Reddit, Pinterest. There's so many different marketing channels being opened. But the biggest thing when it comes to marketing and like with young people that we always talk about is psychology. You understanding the consumer and the other person on the other side. And the best way of doing it is either go through that cycle yourself numerous times, so you know what goes through their head, or like actively study that. Like myself, when I study marketing, it's literally 50% psychology and 50% marketing theory. Because if you don't understand the consumer, then how are you going to apply those theories to them?
Exactly. If you could have one perspective, like I could have one perspective, this is how I see it and this is how I would like it. But sometimes it's not always about how you see it. It's going to be about the majority. How do the people in your project perceive this concept? How do they see you when you're pursuing these kinds of opportunities? How is it communicated, articulated, presented? It all impacts it. It's all based on, emotions. That's what a lot of people make
NFT
most
is the
of
best
their
thing.
buying decisions on is emotions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in NFT space, there's no more prime example of different psychological tactics being deployed in different segments of like quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. There's no better example than NFTs because it's based on emotions, feelings, and if you like something or you don't, or you dislike it. Or on the other hand, you're just going for the money. There's so many different demographics of people that want something in the long term, people that want something in the midterm, people that want something in the early term of the project release, or people that want the paper hand. There's so many different demographics to take account and so different customer groups in it that you also need to kind of understand what they're thinking and then try to include all of that in a project. That's kind of the.
I love how you stated it because you kind of you can't get rid of any of them, and they're all kind of a little bit important. Even the flippers, they're kind of a little bit important because sometimes they'll be generating some of that volume for.
I mean, they're in volume, exactly. I mean, like you want to make a project as inclusive as you possibly can to not only include different demographics of nationwide, but also your different people that have different psychological bases of what they do, how they do it, and why they do it. So there's so many different groups, and the deeper you go. I remember me talking to this the chief marketing officer of Fat Ape and Billionaire Ape Club, and what they said is they spend hours and hours and hours refining the absolute little details. But that's what, as soon as they stack up, these little details and fine tuning, that's what causes change at the end, because those little details are tailored or targeted to different people, and if you can with one little tweak, make 20 or 30 people feel more included in your community, that's 20, 30 people that are buying into your project just because you didn't do that little tweak. There's a lot of stuff. I could keep going for hours and hours, but there's a lot of stuff.
I completely understand.
I'm trying to keep it really basic.
That's the fun thing for me is I love diving into this stuff, and maybe we'll definitely have to bring you out onto one of the AMAs to get dig into that some more because just like you said, just looking at certain aspects of the marketing, you can break it all up, you can chop it how you can. And you can take it so far about analyzing and explaining how it's being utilized in this space. So, ooh, yeah, that's exciting. That gets me going. I know that it's something I get excited about.
Give me and Max on a call. I'll be there for hours talking about it. I remember on last Thursday, I had to keep an eye on the watch all the time because I can keep on about it for a long time. It's really interesting.
No worries. And this we'll jump into a little bit more of the we'll make a little bit of fun of this one. So, looking at the metaverse, right? Let's look at these metaverses, and you see a lot of the animal focused NFTs blowing up? Are we really just going to be creating a zoo out here?
I mean, psychology. At the end of the day, like think about it. All these top projects are animals, so why wouldn't you follow that? Literally, that's the basics, the foundation of it. But at the same time, they're so easy to design as well. They're easy to design, and you also have like a nice foundation to go with, like a base. Like for example, I'm doing an ape. That's my base, you know. And then obviously I have to apply different colors, etc., to it to make it look more appealing, like you know. But I think the animal NFTs are going to dominate for a long time. They're going to dominate for a long time because if you think about it, all the top projects are there's a lot of little animals going there. I mean, Bird Ape, obvious, you know. You have like cyberpunks back in the day that were doing really good. Lazy lions, you know. You had sappy seals back in the day. Now we have different projects as well, like you know, going to the animal route. So I think they're going to dominate for a while, just because of the kind of the narrative and what people have been seeing all the time for the past month. They've seen a lot of animal projects in that top 50 popping up on a weekly basis, you know, and it's also what you see all the time. What do you think about the ape?
Well, it surprised me. I get your point that everything will turn into a zoo. From from a team's perspective, it's quite nice because if you say seals, you're thinking of sappy seals maybe. If you say the lions, people are thinking about lazy lions. So it's nice to have something that is quite common by everyone linked to your project. If you say the alpacas, most of the people will think about the alpacadabras. So that's for us. That's really nice to have these type of marketing. Whenever someone goes to the zoo, he thinks about buying more of your NFT. So free marketing anywhere you're looking. But it surprises me that so many projects are following the ape trend and are still quite successful with it. I didn't expect that one, to be
I
honest.
agree. You know, it's all about the aspect of open source, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all about making your own spin on it, and that's going to be through the art that you're creating. You can have the
yeah,
same cookie cutter structure that everybody else is following. You know, this is going to be the utility that you get, this kind of thing. You get 10 of these every day that you're holding one of this, and so, and then you'll be able to play this game when we release it. You know,
yeah.
it's all about, you know, like you said, just finding the people that are going to get to it. My question, and I was talking, I think I was talking to some of the you know, the larger investors in our community earlier. Is my question was, how come we're trying to go back in science? You know, I thought I thought we developed past the age. Why are we trying to go back to become the
Yeah, but
I
we
don't,
like we can be a human the whole day. So why not become an animal
I mean,
in the metaverse?
tell me, how many ape projects come out on a weekly basis?
uh,
Yeah, the apes,
Like,
it surprised me. It surprised me quite well
yeah,
that these ape projects keep
yeah.
doing well.
And
Because
what's the reason though? You know, like if you think about it, what's the reason and why people keep doing it? Is because they see Bored Ape on the top every time for the last year. What if
yeah,
you see
they
something multiple times, you're going to try to recreate it, and when you recreate it, people are going to see, oh, an ape, and they already seen a lot of different apes in the top 100, and they'll keep following that, you know.
yeah
But at the same time, I usually myself, I do a lot more research when into investing into ape projects than other projects, because there's a reason people do that. Ape projects, they know that a lot of people are going to be gravitating towards it because it's similar to what's already at the top, and they think they'll get there easy. But you know,
yeah.
sometimes
So it's not that all ape projects are rock pools or all ape projects are bad projects per se, but you do see that most of the rock pools are trying to be similar to other projects, more of the well-known projects. Lately, it's they're mostly doing it with
doodles, yeah,
derivatives.
yeah.
You can see it within 1 minute whether a
the
project
color
is
scheme.
yeah, like they're just trying to be too
A
much
lot of
like another
projects.
project for an easy
Yeah.
sale. But I do like the fact that the metaverse is will contain multiple animals because one of the bigger ones probably in the metaverse, the Meebit. they're humans already, and they can be the humans of the metaverse, and then
Let
we're
us be
all
the animals.
turning into into an animal.
I-
So,
oh, this is fun. No, I love the idea. I love the creativity. You know, that's just what we're here to do is create this fun social aspect to it, this new form of engagement, this new form of learning. And who cares? This is me. I mean, like, there's going to be the classrooms, there's going to be the educational basis of this in the metaverse going on. And I think it's going to be funny when you see a lot of, like, half the class is going to be like, half the
oh, I
class
can't
is
wait.
going to be like animals, the other half is going to be something abstract.
I mean, can you imagine your when you go to college in 10 years and they're going to be covering NFTs, like, like, imagine how those covers are going to be look like. Well, 80% were actually animals and there's 20% that look like humans.
It's going to be fascinating. And we think of it as going, us going to it. Maybe it's not even going to be that kind of a structure. Maybe it's just going to be something that we log in and we see this person on the screen talking to us, or we
Who knows?
put our contact lenses in, or who knows how it's going to be developed in the future. That's the crazy thing.
The last week, well, the week before, we talked to Max on our tour space. It was fantastic, man. I love talking to him. I had a chat with a VR and augmentation company and what they were developing with NFTs. And I'm just there like, okay, let me do some research on it because I do not understand half the concepts they're trying to implement here. Like, it is crazy. It is crazy, like. But imagine VR and augmentation with NFTs. What's that going to turn out?
Oh, it's going to be fascinating. You got, and that was something else that we had on 2 weeks ago. We had a AMA about VR, the virtual reality, augmented reality, the mixed reality of it as well. And the technology that's being developed for some of this is it's just surprising, shocking, and you would never imagine it. Like I mentioned earlier on, there's going to be events where you're going to be sitting here on your couch and you're going to be able to go, who's your favorite sports team? You're going to be able to watch them, maybe courtside, maybe up in the bleach. You're going to have a different kind of an experience when actually being involved with some of these things because of these visual technologies that are being developed. We also were talking about food. You're going to be able to smell these experiences. You're going to be able to taste these experiences that are happening.
Yeah, the senses, how that influences your senses, it's going to be incredible. How, like, it's just like, if you think about it, it's just like mind blowing. Like, your senses are going to be affected by VR,
The reason why they're kind of looking to develop it is, one, enhancing that engagement, but two, because there's also some of those negative side effects from not having those things, and how we're going to be involved in this space so much more going forward. So, like, if you're always hooked up and logged in or something using your virtual whatever technology, having that lack of smell, having that lack of taste in the feel of the environment causes other kind of negative impressions on your body, on your mind, psychologically. So it's definitely something cool to just understand and see why people are actually looking into and what they're actually doing with that.
Yeah, I'm not looking to start a conversation on it. It's going to be a really long one. But just to kind of finish it up for the viewers to have even think about it, what is going to happen if VR gets introduced in a mass amount? What happens when you come off? What happens? But then what becomes reality? What doesn't? Because reality, at the end of the day, can become what the hell you want it to be. Because, like, I'm working at a PC most of my time. That's my reality. I work at a PC. I don't even meet people that much. So I don't have the time. But then what happens if that gets shifted? Then we are in a nice conversation then when that occurs.
We call that discussion something that we talk about on the night train, because those are one of the ones that we go down the rabbit hole on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, before we even start, I'm just saying.
I know you put that warning out there in bold. You're like, I know this could definitely trigger a whole long conversation. But yes, hey, that's something we'd love to discuss. Maybe, like I said, we can set up a couple of these AMAs or something back and forth where we can talk further about some of these topics. I mean, that's something that myself, Red Rabbit, and there's a lot of other people in our communities that they love doing the research on this stuff. They love digging into those kind of concepts and topics. So we would be more than happy to discuss those even further.
Oh, I'm 100% all the time, and for me, it's hard to stop talking about these things when I start. That's the biggest thing.
And that's why, there's people that are nervous about us because, some people need that little taste of it first. But us, we're like scared for people that don't know about these things. Like, you need to know all of this stuff.
It's exciting though, yeah. It's so exciting. It's like technology keeps developing. It will keep developing, Like, even the stuff that we started, like Apefan, Brainy, and Kato Samidi started ALPACADABRAZ, and now look at what has become. Look how many people it's influencing and touching on a daily basis. Like, we have these crypto events now as well, happening all the time. For instance, like we have meetups, etc. Look how much the community aspect as well. How many people are we influencing and reaching out to? And you don't need crazy infrastructure to start it. That's what the beauty of an NFT space is you can begin whatever you want to begin and the path you want to take onto as soon as you're willing to put the hard work and have the concept right. And also understand the end consumer, what they want, and what's currently popular or what will be popular eventually in the long term. That's something to think about as well.
Definitely. All right. So I think we got time for maybe one more question. Let's ask this one. So, expectations versus reality. This is probably one of the more complex topics out there for a project. How do you manage and making sure that, whatever expectation you're providing to your community, how are you addressing that and creating that and putting into reality, especially given all the things that are changing, like the technology changing, like the people's mindsets changing, like these new projects coming out. How do you deliver or how do you manage these things,
Yeah, it is very hard to do. If I can give the example of the mounting, for example, just some small background. What is annoying is that you don't want to follow on what all the other projects are doing. But if you do that, you're quite sure that it is possible what you're offering. So if I would say like, hey, I want to do, I don't know, offer staking of the NFT, that so many projects did that, that it will probably be possible, but it will not be, it will even not feel nice, but it will probably also not excite the community. So you always want to do something novel. And to do something novel, it's actually really hard to bring that into reality because for example the mounting yeah, none of the project has done it, so we speak to Sandbox, we spoke about it, but we have to decide very fast because if we're going to wait 4 months until everything is out there, then a lot of projects will do it as well. We will be sure that we can bring it into reality, but because we've seen other people do it, so you have to find the limits and then just work very hard to make it reality. We've tried everything, but the only way to do it is just work hard, try to every different method to make it reality, and then you will make it reality. But yeah, the expectations. We're not the project that wants to have too much expectations. We really love the idea of under promise but over deliver, and that's the only way to do it in this space as well, because as I'm actually at the beginning of this talk, I said if you make a roadmap right now, you will be quite sure that it makes no sense in a year anymore, so you have to stay for fragile, well, you have to stay on your toes and be able to adapt very quickly in this space. And yeah, that also comes with maybe sometimes not following up on a certain expectation. But if you can compromise it with something much better, then everyone will understand.
Yes, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's not always something that's talked about. Sometimes the thing that's talked about is just the delay of the deliverable of that initial thing that you're talking about. And
Yeah.
that's something that's hard for a lot of people to get over. But the thing that I want to highlight is the fact that we're having issues with this, or maybe we're delaying this but we have this other thing that we have been working on that is going to be incredible. Like it's going to blow the expectations out of the water. And it's all about just sometimes patience, understanding, explaining, and having the right communications with whether it's your team or the community, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone who is in the space right now are open-minded. Most of the people who, if you're very close-minded, you're not gonna buy NFTs in this type of at this moment. Like
market.
let's speak, yeah, in this type of market, but also at this moment in general. Even when we're in a bull market, most people are quite open-minded to buy an image of $5,000 to $10,000. Like it's not, if as we said, if you say it on a Christmas party, it's not that easy to convince everyone. So people who are in here are really open, and we noticed that. So even if we just explain it to the community, like, hey, this is what happened, almost nobody is still upset, and we're very happy. I'm very happy with our community, and I couldn't be more happy about it. That if a problem arises, most of the time it's me caring more about it than the community because they instantly understand it. I just tell them, and they're like, "Yeah, it can happen," and continue working, and we're happy. And yeah,
I I think the community is really at the end of the day. If we, when you go about the marketing, the psychology, all the jibber jabber, like the community really is what makes or breaks it at the end of the
yeah,
day. You know?
yeah,
And that's there, like that's there. Like if there's no community, there's no project. You can have the greatest minds in the world. Don't get me wrong, but if there's no community, that's not gonna. They probably will attract people, but if there's no community, there's no project.
yeah,
You know, so like I think what Apefan himself have been a really good job with is addressing the community all the time. Like he's always in the chat talking, and it might be a little thing for people, but for myself, like when I see it, I'm like, oh shit, like no, it's really good because he's engaged with the community all the time and answering queries. But it's the founder, not a moderator. You know, it's a
yeah.
person that in their eyes has some authority that's actually engaging with the community, the members, and trying to help them. I think that's been amazing. You know, like if you take care of the community will take care of yourself when you're down. You know, or when
Abs-
climate.
oh,
That's exactly
absolutely.
right.
You know, it's all about shake the thing that I like to talk about. It's all about shaking the tree. It's going to happen. Your tree is going to get shook. It's just
Yeah,
about, how deep are your roots? How deep are you have those roots implanted? How strong is your structure? How strong is your foundation so that tree doesn't get knocked over? And
yeah.
it all comes from the community.
That is, the community really helps strengthen the tree. There has been times when we really expected, yeah, I don't know, with the mint we had an issue, and all of them were so, like, so
Understanding.
welcoming, heartwarming, and I couldn't be more happy with the community. We're having this really, really, really great, and that's also why it makes me super excited to build the best metaverse land for them as we can imagine, because that is the way to really go full 100% power into community engagement, and that's why I'm super excited to go into the metaverse.
Awesome. I love that. I love the discussion that we've had today. It's been great. I know that a lot of the people that are watching now, they've been dropping comments about, how much fun this is, especially I'm seeing in the Discord about just people enjoying this kind of discussions and hearing these different perspectives. And,
Oh, we need to have it again. 100%.
pardon?
Oh, we need to do this again. 100%, man.
Oh,
I'm really
absolutely.
having a blast.
I'd be absolutely. This is fun. I love getting the different perspectives because we've only touched on a couple of the topical, ideas.
Yeah.
There's so many different facets that we could be discussing here, and we definitely will be. We definitely will be penciling those in for something on the schedule. So I'm excited to see, just the open minds that both you have, and I can only imagine the same kind of aspect coming from many of the people in your community. And that's kind of something that we want to kind of do is look to get more of that community involvement going. So let me throw an idea at you. I don't know if you're familiar with the whole kind of Family Feud game, but what we kind of want to do is have some more of this game show kind of going on. So let's say we get like maybe 4 people from our community in the Legends, and we get 4 people from the ALPACADABRAZ, and we gear them up and have them just doing some sort of Family Feud game show kind of vibe going on to where we're just having fun with it.
It sounds cool. Sounds cool. When are you
I
planning
mean,
to
it's a
do
blast.
I just wanted to bring the idea up to you guys. So if that's
I
something you
love
want
it.
me to push, we can push that real quick.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm already excited for it.
Awesome.
I
So
mean,
hey,
for me, it's like whenever
Go ahead.
whenever we get the chance to meet people that like are like they're so clever and like I've been engaged with the community a lot myself. Just like I just love chatting away, like I've been in a voice chat quite a lot, talking away with some of the lads. They helped me out buy some Meta Legends last time. But like example, I love like talking and chatting with people that are involved in the space. So like I'd be 100% down for it. I actually think it'd be pretty interesting to do.
I think it'd be fun. We get some of these little community competitions going on, just something. I mean, another thing that we're looking to develop is just the whole gaming aspect of it, because there's still going to be the video gaming thing. So looking to set up different kind of tournaments with communities, and there's so much, like you said, like we were talking about earlier, just the collaboration with other people. It's going to drive the space so much further, and having fun with it. That's the biggest thing, is just having fun with it too.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Fun is the most important.
yes, it is. So I'm glad that you
I mean-
both were pretty happy with that idea. Is there anything else that you want to provide? Any shout outs that you want to give to maybe your community, maybe somebody that you're appreciating, your mom or whoever? Is there anybody else you want to leave some nasty comments for?
Well, shout out to you for organizing, for getting us here. Thank you very much, and very appreciated. It's been a pleasure
Oh, I
being here.
knew. See,
And thank you as
I
well,
knew.
Awning, for getting this up.
Well, I knew this was gonna be such a blast. Like, see, it's sad I can't have my camera on because I'm in a hotel right now and now my setup. But no, I've been smiling and laughing the entire part. Like, no, I'm having a blast. See, I knew this was gonna be so much fun. But like, I've watched a few of Rose's podcasts, and I feel like he's really educated on the topics. I know actually where to ask questions, etc. So I knew like I was gonna have a blast, and it was such a great fun. So thanks Rose for having us. And
Hey,
100%.
I'm more than happy to have people on, especially like yourselves, who are just engaging, fun, and have a vision about the things that they wanted to develop for the future, and just being overall, great people. I mean, having this kind of interactions, even communicating, we've had fun with it. I dropped you our St. Patrick's Day video that you got a good chuckle out. We love just having the comment, the just the fun aspect of it, and I'm excited to see what more we can do in the community aspect together moving forward.
Yeah, and also if anyone's gonna be around Cyprus, I'll be talking at a crypto event next few days. So if anyone's on Cyprus, come down. I'll bring you for dinner. Have a chat. You can
heard
take
it,
on that offer.
Cyprus. Hey,
I'm tempted to go myself now
how
for
much of the
dinner.
flight?
I did.
Yeah,
You didn't tell me that before.
Well, I didn't want to tell you. That's the reason. You'll milk my account dry.
He knew where you would go to eat. That's why.
Exactly.
I can't afford them.
I can still make it. Don't worry.
Oh, well, hey, I appreciate both you, Apefan and Awning, being able to join us here. And again, I can't wait to see what more we're able to do and provide in this space, especially for both of our communities. So again, big shout out to you. Big shout out to your community. We wish you all nothing but happiness and success along this long journey that we're all embarking on. And we can't wait to see where we're able to take it together.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And once again, thank you for hosting us. And yeah.
Thanks so much.
Likewise, we're in it together. Let's not forget that.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, anybody who's watching, give these people a big shout out. If you're on Twitter, make sure you retweet. Make sure you're dropping comments. Give the ALPACADABRAZ the biggest shout out you can, because we had a great conversation, great discussion, and great insights for the future. So again, thank you both. We'll see you now. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Woo! That was awesome. Let's kick it in the lounge. Ooh! I don't know about you guys, anybody who's watching, but I enjoy this more than I can tell you. The whole time you saw me ear to ear, I was just grinning, having a good time because we had two incredible individuals up here chatting about the Web3 space. And I'm so happy, like I said, this is a global outreach. The NFT space community is global, and I'm happy that we're able to coordinate these things no matter where we are in the world. It's great to have this kind of exposure, communication, and overall understanding of what we're able to do and where we want to go with this technology. So big shout out to them and their community. Can't wait to see about getting this game show set up. I've been talking about it a couple of times. If you've been around in the community, you've been hearing me chatting about it. So you'll definitely be seeing more and more of that development here in the near future. So again, to my Meta Legends, we have a lot of things in store. If you've been around in the Discord, check out for the Legend Zone. You see a lot of the rewards going on. Make sure you're hopping in there and being aware. You can't list, can't sell below 1 ETH if you want to stay in the zone. Also, we have some new honoraries going to be developed here soon. It's kind of exciting. So if this is your chance, You got till mid-April. Go out there, sweep some floor. I just picked one up today. The floor is looking pretty good right now for anybody looking to go and get that push towards the honorary. So definitely check it out. And if you have any questions, head over to the Discord. We have a great community that is always there, willing to direct you in the right ways, whatever it may be. If you have anything that you want to suggest to me, maybe feedback, something I can improve with the podcast, or maybe things that we discuss about on the podcast or anything, definitely shoot that message my way. I'm very open to feedback, always happy to chat about anything and everything, and especially, looking to have fun with it. So it was a good podcast, but I think we're going to wrap it up there. Again, head over to the Discord, check it out. We have a lot of cool things in the works. MetaConnect coming at the end of next month. It's very cool stuff. But again, thank you to everybody who tuned in for tonight. Hit us up on all the different socials. We're at TikTok, Instagram. We also on LinkedIn. If you're looking for that professional kind of vibe, we're on LinkedIn. Also check it out on Facebook, Twitter, all the above. We're looking to expand and learn and have fun in all these different spaces. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Let's lock it in, and we will see you around here next time. Peace out, fam.